Assalamu alaikum friends, and welcome back to the course. In the previous video, we saw how to create a safety net for our refactoring. We created a lot of tests that will protect us from any kind of mistake we are going to do in the refactoring. So in this video, we are going to start with the basic step, which is converting the Java file to Kotlin. So let's go here and open up our project, which is Periton Calculator. And the first thing we need to do, of course, we need to convert it to Kotlin. You can press the shortcut, which is Alt, Enter, Shift, and K. Everything will be converted to Kotlin. Are going to see some mistake, are going to solve them. Here it will tell you that some code need correction, press yes. So here we go, we have a Kotlin class. So a lot of stuff have some problems. The first one, which is this one, prayer time current. Actually, we are not using it, we can delete it, right? Then we have other errors here. The errors for the conversion, it's because there is a double, so we can just add 0 here and add also 0 here, and everything is fine. And here we need to do a critical step. Whenever you do some modification here, you need to run that safety net for the feedback, okay? So always run all the tests. We expect all the tests to pass. It means we didn't change something big. Awesome, all the tests are passing, which is pretty good. We have 25 unit tests. Right, now what we need to do, we need to fix those warnings here. Okay, we have a lot of warnings. You can press F2 for the next one. A lot of the problems here are because of this one. Actual value is always 3. So there is one problem with this set angle base. What is happening exactly is that at the beginning, the author didn't initialize the variables directly. For example, if you take this set Shafi'i, here you see there is a variable here called Shafi'i, and here we are not setting it directly. Here it is 0, but Hanafi, for example, is 1, right? Where is Hanafi? Exactly, it is 1. So we are using the method in order to initialize it, okay? We can remove those methods right now. And here we have a technique called leaning on the compiler. Simply, it means you are going to use the compiler as a feedback to correct and refactor some stuff. For example, I'm going to delete this one, set time 24, for example. Why I'm going to delete that? Because actually the warning, it says this value is always 24. So there is no need for such a method, and it is not used outside. So what I can do, I can delete it from here. It will produce a compilation error. I can press F2. This is the problem. We need to set it to 0. So it means I can remove this one and go here and set its initial variable to 0. We are setting it to 0 here, right? So I can rerun all my tests, and all my tests should pass. You can change this one into view mode and undocked. That's when you click here, it will go by itself. Okay, we are going to do the same thing for all the methods here. I'm going to delete this one, angle based. I'm going to remove it. It will produce compilation error. I will go here, angle base is set to 3. I remove this one, and then I can change the angle base, where is the angle base, to 3, and rerun all the tests. You don't have to rerun all the tests for every change. You can take a chunk of some code modification. For example, I can remove all those methods at once, right? I can remove all of those at once. For example, all of this method, it will produce a lot of compilation error, and I can modify them together. So this one, I can delete all of them, and I can change here 0 and 1, right? And it's not actually used, this is a problem. And I can remove this midnight 1 and 2, and change it directly here, midnight 1 and 2. The none, actually, we don't need it, I think, can remove it, right? I can remove this one, and I can run the tests for all of this modification. The beauty is that when you run the tests for every small change, if you have an error, you can get back directly to it. Now, if the test didn't pass, I can press Ctrl-Z and get back, or using the version control, I can get back one extra step. Okay, next, you go to the next warning. Some warnings are different, right? For example, here, in the Kotlin, we can't change, like we can't do that. If we remove this line, we can't do that. We need to create a variable that will hold a copy, and then we can modify accordingly. And here we have also a warning that using floor, there is mat.floor and there is Kotlin specific floor. You can press Alt Enter here to replace, we have two things, minus equal and the floor. You can replace the floor first. And here we have A equal A minus this one. I can remove it like that. This is fine. And here I can change the variable name. Now, a lot of refactoring we are going to do is changing names, making this code more descriptive. For example, here we are calling something fixed angle. Here it requires a fixing for the A. So it presented with common case. And here it is up to the code standards you are using. Okay. Same thing for fixed hour. As you can see, there are many things like that. I can change this angle to angle like that. That way I don't have this shadowed example. And I can do the same thing for this function. Here, for example, we rename this time to a time, which is an argument time. And here we have a lot of refactoring we can do. Specifically, we can with Kotlin, since this hour is between this one and this one, right? We can do the refactoring like that with range check hour in this range. And also we can do the same thing for the minutes. The minutes are in the 0 and also the 9. Okay, this minutes, I think we can apply it because it is double. So we can do the following, I think, and that would work, right? You can change this one like that. Same thing here. Like a lot of things can be fixed with Alt Enter, of course. Replace them, replace it here, and also replace it here, replace it here. And of course, from time to time, try to check if your tests are passing. Everything is passing, awesome. I will continue doing that. Here I'm trying to see Kotlin specific issues. I can do remove of the brackets here. That way present much better. I can remove the type from here. And here there is comment. I'm going to talk about comments later on. I can remove it from here. And no suffix equal to false. It means we can check the negation of null suffix. And the same thing here. You can see here this code is pretty much duplicated from this one and the above. We are going also to refactor this into one single function. Sometimes you have a lot of the same issues. For example, there is this math round a lot of times. I think it is 5 times still in the project, like we did it a lot during that project. Okay, what we can do sometimes, you can do the following. If it was like replacing this method call with another method call, for example, we can search for all the occurrences and replace them with this function. For example, let's call it round, for example. But here it's not the case. You are trying to convert the minutes, as you can see, to use an extension function. You can do something also good here. Try to select everything and then select basically everything from here. You can select it, all occurrences. You can check for all the occurrences, right? Check if this, okay, we don't need to use this occurrence, right? I'm going to use this specific CC. So it use only this 4 things, or you can select them by hand. You can select them like the following, Alt G for selecting all the occurrences. Now what I can do the following. I can move this one and get back here and use round to end, right? That way I can remove this in single go. And here it will just show you duplicate to tell you like there are duplicates. We are going to deal with duplicates later on. Sometimes since you are in Kotlin, we can replace the F with the switch. For example, we call it when in Kotlin. Alt Enter and replace such a thing. And here you can remove the brackets from all when entries. It looks much better. So basically we try to remove all the big warnings here. We still have some warnings here you can check. Maybe you can start fixing the typos. I'm okay with the typos. There are a lot of variables that start with bigger letter. It should be renamed. I'm going to do that in the next video. This one, for example, is okay, I forget that. It's an ABS function. I can use Kotlin. So this is one of the things we did, right? We tried to replace all the function call that use Java to Kotlin. We replaced some if and else's with the when, and also we fixed Kotlin specific issue because we did the Kotlin conversion. At the end of the day, of course, you have to run your tests. If everything passes, we didn't do something big. Most of them were automatic refactoring. We leaned on the compiler sometimes to remove function and replace them. So that's pretty much it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to talk about renaming, comments, and removing the clutter. So thank you very much and see you in the next video.